Hello explorers and welcome to another video. Today we're gonna continue learning about Linux. Next up we will install a package that we've done before. This is Bison. So let's configure Bison. Also very straightforward, a configure with the prefix and the doc directory. So this is a parser generator. So it's very, we built it earlier before we built the C++ compiler because we were required to have that in order to create it. Yeah, Bison has Jack inside as well, which is, yeah, it's a wrapper of Bison, but because it was called Jack before, yet another compiler. Which is an interesting name for it. So this program creates compilers. So now we have configured that. We will build it. This will take a little bit of time. So it has a circular dependency between Bison and Flex. So we could run check after we have installed Flex if we like. But for now, I'm just gonna run make install. So we have that package. So now we have next is actually installing Flex. So let's do that. And Flex is a package utility for generating programs that recognize patterns in text. So I guess that with Flex that recognizes different patterns, and with Bison that can actually compile a compiler. With these two you can create some really interesting compilers and or some really interesting programs. So let's do some patching of this. So this sed command here where we change off some includes in this Flex dependency. So after math we will add this include, and this will fix a problem introduced in glibc, the version that we have compiled here. So let's do that, and then we need to configure this with a prefix of the help man and tell it where point that to tools being true. And why do we do that? Okay, so help to man is a program that will create help or man pages for you from help files, but just now it's not available. So in order for Flex to install and not fail, we will point the system to this true command so it actually can run whatever it likes, and it will not fail, but it will not do that process either. And then we will set the prefix and the doc directory for Flex during this configuration step. And this Flex package has the Flex tool, and this will generate programs that recognize patterns in text. We just need to do a make here as well. It allows for versatility to specify the rules for a pattern finding, eradicating the need for developing a special program for that. Okay, and we also have Flex++ that can do the same for plus programs. So now we can run a check on this Flex so we can see that it actually do what it should do. And we can also go back and run the checks on Bison if we want to do that, in order to see that both of these programs work with each others. And all the commands passed. So let's make install Flex. So we have that in our system. And we also want to do a link here and link Lex to Flex. So we actually have the Lex command as well, because earlier programs used Lex instead of Flex. So that's a backwards compatibility. We need that. Another very interesting and great tooling is Grep, which we are going to install next. So Grep is a way to find things in different files using regular expressions or just paths. So we will configure this with the prefix and a bin directory and a prefix. So this grep will give us grep with prints lines matching extended regular expression. We have fgrep that will match a list of fixed strings, and we have grep that matches lines of basic regular expressions. So it's a very useful tool if you either want to pipe something to it, if you are, let's say, tailing a log, so you will get a lot of different logging messages of that program, for instance, but you are only interested in some of them, then you can tail that log, pipe it to grep, and actually just take some of them. We will do a make command, so we will actually build this grep using make as usual. Next up, we will do a make k check, and I guess this k again is don't stop for any errors, just sum them up afterwards. So I guess that we will have perhaps one error that we might expect here. I don't know, I've never run this check on grep. No, we actually passed all the tests, we only skipped a few. So let's make install grep, so we will have that in our system, and continue to the next one. And now we need a shell, something that we can log into and use. And the most commonly used shells are the bash shell, the Bourne again shell. So let's go into bash. This is something that we need to configure with some parameters. Prefix as usual, docdir as usual, without bash malloc. So it actually has its own malloc introduced in there, but we want to use the system malloc, and we also want it to be installed with readline. That is, so we wanted to use the read line that is installed in the system already, and not use the read line in the bash binary. So that's interesting that bash actually comes with both a malloc and a read line. So they have bundled in a lot of interesting dependencies. I guess that if you want to install bash, you don't want to have that many requirements when you are installing it, because it makes it harder. But we want a system that only it contains the actual things that is required to run the system. And then we will make this. This will take a little bit more time, so I'll get back to you when it's done. And there we are done. We have made this. We need to do a chown rv with nobody for the whole package. Okay, so this is only if we want to run the test suite. I don't think that we need to run the test suite for bash. We have done that before. So let's do a make install for this one. And we want to move it to the bin directory. Don't have it in USR bin. And we actually want to run it, so we will enter that version of bash instead. So what do we get here? We will get the bash, the widely used command interpreter. We will get bash bug, and that's a shell script to help user to compose a mail standard formatted bug reports concerning bash. That's interesting. And we also get an sh, which is a symlink to bash. There is other shells out there, and it's very I would say that don't be content with Bash. Try other ones as well. I believe there is one called ZSH, and there are a few of them. Some of them have extra functionalities that you can use regular expressions. Some of them makes it possible to edit things in your system from the from the shell terminal and so on. Some of them have extra search functionalities. So it's good to actually try a few out. I find that Bash is installed everywhere and I like it, so I use it. But I would say try different ones. And let's go on and install libtool. So that's the next one we need. It's not a super large one either. It contains the GNU generic library support script. Okay, it actually wraps the complexity for using shared libraries in a consistent and portable interface. So this is good for very many of these packages. It's interesting that we haven't installed it until now, because we have installed a lot of different libraries so far. And it does only needed a configure with a prefix, so I just ran that one. And then we do a make. So that will make this libtool. And in this package we will get the libtool that will provide a general library building support services, and a libtool which provides a standardized way to add libtool support to a package. So that's interesting. So then we have a test suite here that we can run. It's quite extensive. It will take a lot of time. There is a test suite flag that we can add to run it over multiple processes. But as this package only takes a little time to build and it takes a lot to check, and it should be fine, I will just install it. If you want this system to be really stable and want to verify everything, of course run the test suite. Make check, you will run that. Next up, we will unpackage the GDBM. So what is GDBM? Let's see. It's a package for the database manager for GNU. Very similar to the standard Unix DBM. It provides primitives for storing key data pairs, searching, retrieving data by its keys, and deleting a key along its data. Okay. So this is some kind of database used by the GNU project. We will add a prefix, we will disable the static, and we will enable libgdbm compat. So this will switch on the compatibility library that some packages outside of this LFS system will require if they have an older DBM routines. So, and this should be very fast to build as well, so it's not a very complex library, but I guess that a lot of tools in the GNU packages are using this. We will make it, and when it's made, we can do a simple check on it. Should also not be that extensive. Let's see, yeah, all test results were successful, so we will install this package. So let's go on to the next one. Performance library, if I'm not incorrect. gperf. gperf. Let's see here. Generates perfect hash function for a key set. Never heard of it. Perfect hash from a key set. seems useful. What is a perfect hash? So this requires a prefix and the doc directory, because there should be a multiple hashing functions in this library. We do a make or in the system. So will this figure out which one to use? We also run this with a make check with J1 because we don't want it to run on multiple CPUs. It should only check on one. And it seems that the check have not failed. So let's install this package. It's a very small package. And I thought it had to do with performance as pref, but I was wrong, and I have not used gpref as a command. But I guess that some other packages will use it, so that's why we install it. Expat is the next one up. There is a lot of packages in a Linux system. It contains a stream-oriented C library for parsing XML. So XML is used in a lot of different environments, a lot in enterprise systems and so on. It's a good way to structure data in a readable manner. First off, we need to change some paths here from USR bin m to bin in a run script. So we use sed for that, and it will fix a problem with the regression tests in the LFS environment. So we will run the checks later on. We will set the prefix directory again to USR. We will disable the static and set the doc directory. So similar stuff that we have done before. After this have built or configured, we will do a make. And in this package we have the command xml-vf, which is a non-validating utility to check whether or not an XML document are well formed. Okay, non-validating utility. So we'll not validate, but it will check if the document is well formed. That sounds interesting. So let's make a check, see if it actually works, does what it should do. Guess that there isn't that many tests for this. There were 2, so it was quite fast. We will make install this, and we want to run a little bit of another command here to move some HTML, PNGs and CSS to the expat directory to install the documentation. So that was expat. I think we have done a lot here, and this video will be broken into smaller parts, and I hope that you found this interesting. I hope that you learned a little bit more about Linux and different components of Linux. And if you have any questions or suggestions, leave them down in the comment section down below. If you like this video, give it a like, share it with your friends and colleagues. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do that. And I really hope to see you in the next video.